We'll touch on this, though, before we segue into Charm City Kings, because I do want to bring this up, that HBO Max is indeed coming to Amazon Fire TV. 5 months after its initial launch, HBO Max filled one of the massive streaming voids by getting a deal done with Amazon, which will allow the service to be streamed on Fire TV. Max has about 9 million subscribers. The kicker, though, and this is funny if you think about it, not to HBO, but it's funny to Steve Pulaski over here. The kicker is their nominal sub count. HBO Max's nominal sub count is about 38 million. But there's a plethora of unactivated accounts from pay TV customers. If you have HBO, you get HBO Max included. So tell your, and I hate to call my mother out because she often watches the show, but like my boomer parents have no idea really how to access HBO Max. Mm-hmm. I'm the one using it. Like, and I think a lot of people are on that boat too, where it's like they have HBO Max, they have HBO, but they don't realize they can get HBO Max. But it also, even that case, it also didn't help that out of the gate it was a cluster cuss, to say the least, because of the fact that you had HBO Go versus HBO Now versus HBO Max. We did a whole breakdown on that. That's how confusing that was. And HBO Max also had the displeasure of going through leadership changes and COVID-caused content delays as well, and a lack of deals with Amazon and Roku. So at least one of those is patched up. But at the end of the day, and we're not going to go too long-winded on this because we do have a movie to discuss, but I'll close my thoughts on this and pass it over if you guys got anything to say. And you don't have to feel obligated. I feel like I've been the one banging the drum on this absence of HBO Max on Roku from the jump, being a Roku user. This holdup was always ridiculous to me, and it's always been over ad revenue. We've talked about this, or ad, content and advertising. We talked about this at great length. You can definitely go back and check out our older videos. But HBO Max was in a losing fight to begin with. It's proven by the disappointing figures after 5 months during a time when we're spending a lot of our free time at home. Like, they're not making a huge dent, or at least the dent they wanted to make in the streaming wars, number one. And number two, you're going around two of the biggest streaming content providers on the face of the earth in Amazon and Roku. The fact you didn't have this ironed out at least a month after Max's launch. It's one thing if on launch day you don't have the deals, as bad as it looks. It's another thing, the fact that you didn't get this wrapped up quick enough. Mm-hmm. And now, my only hope now is with Wonder Woman 1984 coming to HBO Max. My only hope, though, is that in order to maximize the potential profit and the potential viewership, they will fast-track this deal with Roku. And because, now that we know that Wonder Woman 1984 was picked up by HBO Max, this Amazon deal came out a couple days ago. You had to think that there was some, you know what I mean? They had to have known. They know, obviously, that like, hey, we should get this thing on Amazon and Roku by now. We got a big ass movie coming up that could, increase our subscriber count. So that's the other thing that I'm trying to touch on here. So that's my hope, is that this thing, coupled with the Amazon deal getting done, coupled with Wonder Woman 1984 coming to HBO Max, gets a deal on Roku sooner rather than later. Yeah. That's my hope.
All I gotta say is, I'll be real quick with my thing, is that throughout this whole pandemic, out of all the streaming apps, Max has actually ended up as my favorite one right now. I like it way. I agree. I like it way better than Disney Plus. As much as Disney Plus has a ton of stuff to watch in terms of Star Wars, Marvel, like the big stuff like that, it is a bit still, because it's like I already saw most of this stuff in theaters. I saw most of this stuff when I was a kid, and I enjoy watching it, even the cartoons of the shows that I used to watch. But Max has so much more variety on its stuff. You have DC, you have Warner Brothers, you have HBO, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, TCM, and so much more. Stuff that's not even labeled, like South Park. Like, it's just there, the whole show.
Conan O'Brien now.
Exactly.
Like, he's moving away from TBS.
Solid original shows.
Yeah. And then you have everything.
And also just the HBO library.
Exactly. And then you have the HBO library of what they're airing right now and from the past. Also every single Miyazaki film. It's just like,
yeah, Studio Ghibli. On there.
Literally, there is just so much stuff to watch on HBO that, like, every time I sign on that app, it's like, I feel like with Netflix, Hulu, and everything, it's like I know what I'm getting myself into. HBO Max, I'll open it one day and it's like, oh shit, this is on here now? All right, I gotta watch that. Like when Fresh Prince got added on, I was like, perfect. All right, awesome.
And now the reunion.
And now the reunion,
is going to be on there as well. This is just absolutely huge for in the streaming world
and
for all the people who follow that.
I'll just end it with this. Like I'm glad that Amazon Fire TV is getting it because look, like Dom said, we're probably going to be dealing with this throughout the rest of next year too, unfortunately. Like maybe fall 2021, like stuff will start to reopen, but we'll still be dealing with a lot of stuff like this. So I'm just glad more people who have either the tablet or the stick have access now to this great app. If you're not subscribed to it, this is not an ad whatsoever that I'm trying to sell, but HBO Max to me right now is the best streaming service for your buck.
I have to agree.
I wholeheartedly agree myself too, and I said this back in when it launched in May after digging through the catalog. The fact that HBO Max houses so much content on top of the HBO library from different generations and networks. You have classic movies. It's one of the few streaming services outside of the Criterion channel that loans itself to classic movies. The fact that it wasn't available on two of the biggest streaming content providers is a cruel joke only 2020 could play. But like, and it sucks because I hate I hate watching stuff on my laptop. And I want it on my TV, but all that aside, all the politics, logistics aside, HBO Max is my personal favorite streaming service. Dom, final word on this.
Yeah, final word is that connecting it back to Wonder Woman, you could not have chosen considering the cards you were dealt with, just having the pandemic thrust upon production schedules and everything and the timing of everything. Wonder Woman could not be the better card to play to announce your grand union of HBO and Amazon really coming together, and to make it available at no extra cost is the perfect play if you have those cards in your hand, which they did do. And man, HBO, Sopranos, The Wire, and Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, you can't get better masterpieces anywhere else. So that's where I'll leave it.
And you'll get Justice League next year too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Snyder cut.
For you 8 people that are excited for it, there you go.